now have our 31st and final race of the day underway here at Wackersdorf. Here is the grid for you all to wonder who's going to start from where. Dennis Thum will start on pole position in the 5:44. The 5:06 of Tommy Helfinger will be on the front row alongside Timo Haug and Daniel Schollenberger in the 5:07, and the 5:22 will complete the top two rows. Stefan Kabau from Kapp Motorsport in the 5:55 will start in fifth, ahead of teammate Marco Winkler in the 5:66, also from Kapp Motorsport. Andreas Frenzel from Bühler Cut Racing Team on the 5:03 will complete the top seven, ahead of the 5:15 from RS Competitions Andreas Schindler. Klaus Pernet in ninth, and Nies Racing will be ahead of Daniel Yildiz in 10th position, with Konrad Bayer completing the top 11. One final race, 14 minutes in duration plus an additional lap. So, the revs rise, lights go out, and we're off and racing. On the run down to turn 3 for the first time. Dennis Thum keeps the lead, Timo Haug in second, Helfinger in third. And Konrad Bayer has joined us for the final race of the weekend, so good to see the Aussie poleman out on circuit. He was the one that has had to come through. His initial chassis broke and then it had a problem. And then they had some brake pressure troubles later on yesterday afternoon, as he goes running a bit wide coming out of turn 10 through the chicane, as now the drivers make their way through into turn 12 for the first time. So 13 minutes and 10 seconds still to go. The first lap of the race is now well and truly done. 51.470 is the lap time from Dennis Thum. Timo Haug 3.5 tenths adrift, with Tommy Helfinger in third. Stefan Kabau and Daniel Schollenberger round out the top 5 positions. Marco Winkler ahead of Andreas Frenzel. Looks like there might be a couple of 3-second penalties coming the way of two particular drivers very, very shortly indeed. Time around, things are a little bit different. Dennis Thum has not managed to get away in the initial throes of this race. So there will be a 3-second penalty for Daniel Yildiz for leaving 2 wheels out of the tram lines on the start phase, as Tommy Helfinger now tries to get through past Timo Haug, 4th position, and now does so through turn number 4. Stefan Kabau still rounds out the top 4, closely followed by Daniel Schollenberger. Marco Winkler trying to catch them as now there's a few drivers battling behind, and that is the likes of Andreas Frenzel, Klaus Barnett, Konrad Bayer is just behind Daniel Yildiz, who completes the top 9 positions as Schindler has dropped to the back of the order. Now come to complete what is going to be lap number 3. Dennis Thum still leads, this time by just under 7 tenths of a second ahead of Tommy Helfinger. Timo Haug still completes the top 3, but it's being closed in on by Stefan Kabau and also Daniel Schollenberger. Marco Winkler also trying to close up, but is running a little bit off pace at the minute. 3 minutes down, 11 to go. One more race to conclude what's been a fascinating halfway point of the season for Rotax Max Challenge Germany in 2020. A Dennis Thum had a comfortable lead after the first few laps, but this time Tommy Helfinger, who had dramas in the first race earlier on today, now looking to make amends. Changes at the moment in terms of the running order, as some of the drivers starting to spread out in terms of the gaps between each respective one. And Schindler still rounds out the 11-strong grid as he gets a bit sideways trying to put the power down through turn number 5. As the leaders now come through the chicane. And this time Stefan Cabal is being closed in on by Daniel Schollenberger, who goes up the inside through turn 11 to now take 4th place. And then on that particular occasion, Stefan Cabal is effectively released by Daniel Schollenberger. So Dennis Thum did have a lead of just over half a second ahead of Tommy Helfinger. And now it's just under 4.3 tenths after 5 laps. So it looks like there's a technical problem there for Daniel Schollenberger, who is now pulled into the pits. So Schollenberger, I think, will be classed as a retirement very, very shortly as the drivers still make their way around the circuit. I mean, looking at the gap between Dennis Thum and Tommy Helfinger, the gap is just over 4 tenths of a second. Timo Hall rounds out the top 3 still. Ahead of Stefan Cabal, Marco Winkler, Klaus Parnett, Andreas Fenzel, Tanju Yildiz, who will drop behind both Konrad Bayer and Andreas Schindler and prepare within 3 seconds of the 5.72 at the checkered flag. But Konrad Bayer looks to be picking up the pace in the 5.08 from RS competition. Last time around he was just under 3 tenths behind, just over 3 tenths behind the 5.72. They are closing in turn on the number 5.03 of Andreas Fenzel, who rounds out the top 7 positions. Tommy Helfinger now getting closer still and sets the fastest lap of the race. A 50.125. Second lap time on lap number 7. 7 minutes and 50 seconds still to go in this race. Plus 1 lap. Daniel Schollenberger has got the blue marker alongside his number on the timing screens up here in the commentary box. So it looks like he will be a retirement as of lap number 5. Getting close to the halfway point of the race, Dennis Thum has not been able to get away like we saw in the first race after the dramas for Helfinger. But Helfinger is keeping the number 5.44 from Karlsborg Klim very, very honest indeed. And the gap between Timo Haug and Stefan Cabal in what is the contest for 3rd place is around about 1.5 seconds. Then it's a further 1.5 seconds back to Marco Winkler. So Haug has a 1.5 second gap from him, well, from Helfinger to him, and from Haug to Cabal it's 1.5 seconds. Marco Winkler in the meantime is trying to close and has gone well over 2 tenths of a second quicker. And he is going to try and do what he can to close up, as Tommy Helfinger, I've just noticed, has closed in on Dennis Thum for the lead. The gap was just over 2 tenths of a second between the pairing as they now go into turn number 2. So through the right-hander at 8, through into 9. 6 minutes to go, 8 minutes completed in the final lap of the final race of the weekend. I think Tommy Helfinger is not allowing Dennis Thum to have it all his own way. Thum now knows that he's got to fight for that victory, which will give him the maximum haul of 50 points once all the results have been cleared and ratified after technical and sporting checks. And now Dennis Thum responds with the fastest lap of the race, a 50.019 from the 544 on the X3 chassis. Tanju Yildiz has now got past Andreas Fensel for position, and that is up into 7th place. And with a 3-second time penalty post-race, he will drop behind Konrad Bayer, so Bayer would be promoted up to 8th place. Stefan Krabal and Marco Winkler still completes the top 5. And the pair are just over 0.2 of a second of drift of each other, with Winkler looking to close the gap once more. And he was 0.160 seconds ahead, quicker than Stefan Krabal on the last lap. Dennis Thum responds again to Tommy Helfinger's advances by going faster than anybody in the first Speeding 2 driver that has gone under the 50-second bracket with a 49.982. The leaders now come through the chicane. Still very close between them. Timo Haug is in 1.8 seconds adrift of second position. He's down in third at the moment, and that's a further 2.3 seconds back to Stefan Krabal, who now has still a chance of maybe having Marco Winkler trying to get past him towards the end of the race. 3 minutes and 54 seconds remain plus 1 lap. The gap between Thum and Helfinger stays at a pretty much consistent level, just under 0.5 of a second between the pair. Timo Haug and also Andreas Fensel and Konrad Bayer get their best laps of the race so far, as now Tanju Yildiz, I think it's just got past Klaus Barnett. So the number 572 from FM Racing, now ahead of the 502 from News Racing. Was that Andreas Fensel? I think he just passed. Well, I'll wait until they come across the line to complete another lap, and that was the 502 of Klaus Barnett on the Maranello chassis for News Racing. Schollenberger has been confirmed as an official retirement as we go into the last 2 minutes and 50 seconds of the race weekend plus 1 more lap. Gap still between Dennis Thum and also Tommy Helfinger. Still keeps at around 4.5 of a second, but by a mere fraction, by about 35 thousandths of a second on that last lap around. Tommy Helfinger goes a bit quicker than Dennis Thum. As now the move has happened between Stefan Krabal and Marco Winkler for 4th place. So Winkler up into 4th. The top 3 still being completed by Timo Haug. As now Dennis Thum still is ahead, but by just literally 1/1000th shy of 0.4 of a second from Tommy Helfinger, who has just under 2 minutes plus 1 lap to try and chase down the Karlsborg Glim driver, to try and go for the victory once again. Turn 12 go the 2 leaders. Helfinger again getting very brave on the brakes to try and close up the gap to the 544 of Thum. Haug, Winkler, Krabal, Yildiz, Barnett, Fensel, Bayer and Schindler is the running order at the minute. This at the moment will drop to effectively 9th position with that 3-second post-race penalty for 2 wheels out of the corridor. We now go into the last 60 seconds of the race weekend, plus 1 lap, and it is still nip and tuck between the 2 leaders as Tommy Helfinger now knows is the time to push, and he has decided So been a pretty good lap there. 49.9557 lap time as they now go over the crest through turns 13 and 14. After this lap, we will go on to the 18th and final lap. So lap 17 now underway. Dennis Thum responds with the fastest lap of the race, but not by much. 67 thousandths between the pair on that last lap alone in terms of pure race pace. So Helfinger will now have a chance if he can. See if we can catch. They come through the chicane. Less than 10 seconds on the clock this time around. We will get the final lap board of the weekend. Out of turn 11 for the penultimate time, it will be the last lap board this time around. This will give the signal to both Dennis Thum and Tommy Helfinger. Which one is going to push like crazy on the final lap of the weekend? So last lap is underway as Andreas Frenzel looks to have pulled up to a standstill on lap number 15. That is a real shame for the 503. Leaders now come through into turn 7 and Tommy Helfinger is trying to mount a last minute attack on Dennis Thum, but I don't think that is going to happen. Tanguy Yildiz, the way he's going, is going to finish in around about 7th position. Leaders now come through, turn 11 for the final time, 3 more corners to negotiate. So, over the crest they come. And it is going to be 2 for 2 for Karlsruhe Teams. Dennis Thum in the 5:44 that takes the checkered flag. Close but no cigar for Tommy Helfinger. He takes second ahead of Timo Hall. Marco Winkler in 4th. Stefan Grabau in 5th place. Tanguy Yildiz in 6th, but will drop down the order. I'll just see how far the gaps are between the drivers behind. That will put him down into 7th, so Klaus Parnett will take 6th. Andreas Schindler in 7th as Konrad Bayer becomes the 9th and final finish of this race after 18 laps, with Andreas Frenzel finishing his race on lap 15 with Daniel Schollenberger pulling into the pits with a technical problem on lap 5.